Hi everyone, it's Monday, December 7th, and we're continuing with Christmas music. It's a little cold outside, but luckily we've been dodging the snow up here in Canada so far, so it's not a bad day out. But at night when you come in and want to listen to some music while you're sitting around waiting for supper, or maybe after supper by the fireplace, we got some suggestions for you for this week. And today we're starting off with big band. And I'm going to just talk about two bands that to me are very similar because basically they're kind of the same format, Boss Brass and Big Phat Band, both of which utilize studio players from their towns to put together a really great big band. Gordin Goodwin's big band has 3 Christmas albums out. First one called Wrap This with the traditional Big Phat Band. He also did another one called Looney Tunes Christmas, soundtrack to a program, and it sounds very different. It sounds very much like a soundtrack, but it is still another nice Christmas album. And recently they've just released one with the Little Phat Band. Now, Little Phat Band has gone through some personnel changes, and some of the players that I enjoy listening to on the Big Phat Band albums, I don't think are playing on this one. I haven't seen a hard copy of it. I know he's been promoting it for Spotify for people to listen to it. And again, it doesn't give you any information on who's playing other than it's a stripped down version of the Big Phat Band. And it's an EP, 4-song outing called Joyful. So 3 choices that you can make with the Big Phat Band. You've got the traditional Christmas album and Wrap This. You've got that soundtrack to the Looney Tunes cartoons in a Looney Tunes Christmas, and Little Phat Band with a new album called Joyful. Now, he's recommending streaming it as well, and I've noticed recently for myself, just going online and checking out some streaming royalty calculators, not all streaming services pay the same. So you might want to check around and find out who's actually giving a little more to the musicians and, paying a little more back. And, pick them as a streaming option if the music's available there. Just give a little more back to the guys that are putting the music out. And not always the one that comes to mind first or the most popular is the one that's paying the most or looking after their musicians. The other band I was going to mention was one closer to home to me from Toronto, and that's Rob McConnell and the Boss Brass. And this one's called Big Band Christmas. Now, while there's a lot of big band albums out there, and I got a couple that I'm going to look at when we get into the discount bin day, where it's really swinging Christmas stuff done with a big band. Rob felt that was done before, and he was trying to keep his a little closer to the more traditional Christmas songs, or Christmas style, and not just jazz it up for the sake of jazzing it up. Now, this album came out after some of the other players had left, and again, it's not the same Boss Brass that I grew up with. There's been some changes. We do have some of the same players there. Mo Kaufman's still there on flute and clarinet and saxophone. We have Guido Basso still in the trumpet section. We have Ed Bickard still playing guitar, which again, he's a great one. Jimmy Vale's been replaced on piano by David Restivo. Alistair Kay is in on lead trombone now. Now, Alistair Kay, I believe, was teaching at Humber College at the time in Toronto, along with another player who is now sitting in the saxophone section for a few tunes, Pat LaBarbera. Some of you may remember Pat LaBarbera. We mentioned him way back when we were talking about Buddy Rich. He was one of Buddy's featured saxophone players. And in mid-70s, I went to a jazz festival, and I think I mentioned this way back too. It was the Belvedere King Size Festival on Bloor Street in Toronto at Varsity Stadium. Pat LaBarbera was sitting in with Louis Belson at that time. He had already moved to Toronto. Louis was putting together a bit of a pickup band. I know Guido was playing in that band with Pat. Also, Roger Ingram was apparently there as lead trumpet player at the time. So Pat LaBarbera ended up teaching at Humber as well and has been there ever since, holding down a spot in Toronto. So this one he's featured on Boss Brass album. So a few personnel changes, more traditional Christmas music, not a swinging big band Christmas album, but still a very nice outing and some excellent musicians on here. So a couple of choices for you for big band Christmas. We have traditional big band playing traditional Christmas music with the Boss Brass. We have the Big Phat Band with Wrap This, which is very similar to this album. We have that little more lighthearted Looney Tunes Christmas, and the new one by the Little Phat Band, Joyful. Hopefully you find something you enjoy on there. Again, some of these are available on hard copy at Amazon. You can get them through iTunes. And if you are using a streaming device, consider which one actually looks after the musicians. Stream your music there. Okay, that's it for today. We'll see you on Wednesday when we're going to look at something I call guilty pleasures. We'll talk to you then. Everybody have a great week.